He was not a brave man, and he was not a lonely man either. He was simply tired. The night shift at the deep space relay station was always quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that made a person talk to themselves just to prove they were still real. Outside the wide glass window, stars burned softly, distant and silent, like frozen fires scattered across endless black. Ethan leaned back in his chair and stretched his arms over his head. His joints popped. He had been monitoring signal traffic for hours, boring data packets, navigation pings, automated status reports from unmanned satellites. Nothing exciting ever happened here. That was the point of the station. He glanced at the empty room behind him. No one else was on duty. Just him, the machines, and the hum of power running through metal walls. With a tired smile, he muttered to himself, "Another thrilling night in paradise." He stood up and walked toward the window, hands in his pockets. He looked at his own reflection in the glass, dark circles under his eyes, messy hair, the uniform slightly wrinkled. He laughed quietly. "I really need a life," he said out loud. The silence answered him. Then, half joking, half mocking his own situation, he raised his voice slightly and said, "You know what? Who wants to marry me, huh?" He spread his arms wide, grinning at the empty stars. "Any takers? Anyone at all?" The words echoed softly in the room. He laughed, shook his head, and turned back toward his console. What Ethan did not know, what no human alive knew, was that the relay station was older than humanity believed. Buried deep within its systems was an ancient translation core, left behind by a long-gone civilization that once watched young species grow. The core was dormant most of the time, translating simple signals without activating higher functions. But certain phrases were not simple. Certain phrases were dangerous. When Ethan spoke his words, the system did not hear a joke. It heard a ritual declaration. The translation core activated fully for the first time in centuries. Energy flowed through circuits never meant to wake again. The station's antenna array shifted alignment by a fraction of a degree too small for human sensors to notice. A signal burst outward, not loud, not fast, but precise. Across distances that bent space itself, the message traveled. It carried intent, emotional resonance, and biological markers. It spoke of openness, consent, and willingness to bond. Far beyond human territory, beyond known maps, something answered. Ethan returned to his seat and began typing, unaware of the consequences of his humor. Minutes passed. Then an alarm chimed softly. He frowned. "That's weird." He leaned closer to the screen. The signal log showed an incoming transmission. No known source, no recognized protocol. The system struggled to classify it. "Probably another glitch," he muttered, but his fingers hesitated above the controls. The temperature in the room dropped slightly. Ethan shivered and looked around. "Okay, that's not normal." The lights flickered once. Then the transmission spiked. Before Ethan could react, the space in the center of the room twisted. Not exploded, twisted like fabric pulled through itself. Shadows bent inward. Air screamed without sound. Ethan stumbled backward, heart racing. "What the?" The distortion collapsed inward, and suddenly something was there. Someone. She stood tall and still, as if she had always been part of the room. Her skin was pale, almost silver, catching the light in strange ways. Her eyes were deep red, glowing softly like embers. Dark armor covered her body, smooth and organic, shaped like living metal. She looked at Ethan. Ethan looked at her. For a long moment, neither spoke. His mind screamed at him to run, to hit the alarm, to scream for help. His legs refused to move. His mouth felt dry. She tilted her head slightly, studying him. Her gaze was sharp, intelligent, ancient. "You are the one who called," she said. Her voice was calm, low, clear. It echoed faintly in his chest rather than his ears. Ethan swallowed. I don't think so." She stepped forward. The floor did not shake, but the air seemed to grow heavier with her movement. "You spoke the bonding challenge," she said. "You offered yourself before witnesses of the void." Ethan let out a nervous laugh. Okay, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Her eyes narrowed not in anger but in confusion. You deny your call. I mean, he said carefully, raising his hands, I was joking, just words. Humans joke. She paused. Define, she said slowly, joke. Ethan blinked. Us saying things you don't mean to be serious. Her expression shifted, not rage, something colder. In my people, she said, such words are never spoken lightly. The station alarm finally activated. Red lights flashed. A calm, automated voice announced a security breach. Ethan winced. Great, just great. She turned her head slightly, listening to the sound. More will come. Yeah, Ethan said weakly. They usually do. She looked back at him. I am Vera of the Noctira. I answered your call. He stared at her. You're a vampire, she frowned. That word is incorrect. Sorry, he said quickly. Just red eyes, pale skin, earth stories. We do not drink blood, Vera said. We feed on stellar energy and bonded resonance. Ethan nodded slowly. That makes me feel slightly better. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Security teams approaching. Vera's posture shifted subtly, ready, alert. Ethan noticed how controlled her movements were, how much power was held back. Listen, he said, finding his voice. I didn't mean to summon anyone. I didn't even know that was possible. She studied his face closely. You feel fear, she said, but not hostility. I try to be polite, Ethan said, even to unexpected alien visitors. One corner of her mouth lifted slightly, not a smile, but close. That is rare, she said. The doors slid open with a hiss. Armed security rushed in, weapons raised. On the ground, someone shouted. Ethan raised his hands higher. Wait, don't shoot. Vera did not move. The weapons shook in human hands. Targeting systems failed to lock properly. Something about her presence interfered with electronics. She is under my protection, Vera said. The guards froze. Ethan nearly laughed hysterically. I don't remember agreeing to that part. Her eyes flicked to him. You spoke the words. I really need to stop talking, he muttered. Command voices filled the room through speakers. Orders overlapped. Fear spread fast. Vera stepped closer to Ethan and lowered her voice. Your people fear what they do not understand. That's kind of our thing, he said. If they attack, she said calmly, I will defend myself. Ethan imagined the result. It would not be good for anyone. He took a slow breath and did the strangest thing of his life. He stepped forward. Everyone stop, he said loudly. His voice shook, but he did not stop. She's not attacking. She's here because of me. The guards stared at him like he had lost his mind. Vera looked at him with something new in her eyes, respect. You would stand before weapons for a stranger, she said quietly. Wouldn't be the first bad decision I've made, Ethan replied. Silence followed. Finally, command ordered the guards to lower their weapons just slightly. Vera straightened. I did not come to harm your kind, she said. I came because my people are dying. The room grew still. Our sun fades, she continued. Our bonds weaken. We searched the void for compatibility. For centuries there was none. She looked at Ethan again. Until you spoke. Ethan's heart pounded. You're saying humans can help. Your species resonates in ways others do not, Vera said. Adaptable, emotional, strong in fragile bodies. He laughed softly. That's a first. You are not prey, she said. You are potential. The words settled heavily in the room. Ethan exhaled slowly. His joke had crossed stars. It had called an ancient warrior from the dark. And somehow, instead of destroying everything, she had listened. Outside the window, the stars seemed brighter. Ethan met Vera's gaze and realized with a strange calm that nothing would ever be simple again. And this was only the beginning. Even when the alarm stopped and the weapons were lowered, tension stayed in the air like invisible smoke. Human command sealed the sector, blocked all outgoing civilian traffic and filled the corridors with guards and scanners. Every camera followed Vera's movements. Every system tried and failed to fully understand her biology. Vera noticed everything. She stood calmly inside a reinforced observation chamber, her posture relaxed, her hands resting at her sides. The walls were thick alloy and energy shielding, designed to hold dangerous prisoners. To her, it felt like a polite suggestion, not a cage. Ethan sat on the other side of the transparent barrier, rubbing his face with both hands. "This is insane," he muttered. "This is absolutely insane." Vera watched him quietly. "You repeat that phrase often," she said. "That's because it keeps getting more true," Ethan replied. Hours had passed since her arrival. Doctors, scientists, diplomats, and military officers had all tried to question her. She answered calmly, honestly, and without fear. The more she spoke, the more uncomfortable they became. She was not lying. She was not threatening. And that scared them more than any invasion fleet. Ethan had been ordered to stay nearby. Official reason, he was the source of first contact. Unofficial reason, Vera seemed more cooperative when he was present. "You should rest," Vera said. "Your heart rate is unstable." Ethan snorted. "Funny, you look like a space vampire and you're worried about my health." She tilted her head slightly. "Your humor is defensive." "Yeah," he said, "so is my personality." She did not respond immediately. Instead, she closed her eyes. The lights around her dimmed slightly, reacting to a subtle energy shift. Ethan leaned forward. "What are you doing?" "Listening," she replied. "Your station hums like a living thing. It is old." "That's what maintenance says," Ethan said. "Older than the blueprints." Her eyes opened. "This place was once a watching post. Your kind inherited it." "Great," Ethan said. "So I accidentally activated ancient alien marriage Wi-Fi." "That is an inaccurate description," Vera said. "But not wrong," he replied. A door slid open behind Ethan. A woman in a command uniform entered, her face serious, eyes sharp. "Ethan Cole," she said. "I'm Director Hale." Ethan stood up quickly. "Yes, ma'am." She looked past him at Vera, then back to Ethan. "You are now officially humanity's most inconvenient translator." "That tracks," Ethan said. Director Hale folded her arms. "We need to understand what your guest wants." Vera met her gaze without hostility. "I am not his guest," she said. "I am his respondent." Hale's jaw tightened. "Respondent to what exactly?" "To his bonding call," Vera said calmly. Ethan cleared his throat loudly. "Still working on that misunderstanding." Director Hale exhaled slowly. "Let us be clear, are you here to claim him?" "Yes," Vera answered. The word landed heavily. Ethan nearly choked. "Claim is a strong word." "In my culture it is an honorable one," Vera said. Director Hale studied Ethan. "Did you consent?" Ethan hesitated. Every eye turned to him. "I didn't know consent could cross light years." Vera's gaze sharpened. "Had you known, would you have spoken differently?" Ethan opened his mouth, closed it, thought. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I wouldn't want anyone to die because of my stupidity." Something shifted in Vera's expression. Director Hale noticed. "Explain," she demanded. "Our species is fading," Vera said. "Without compatible bonds, our energy collapses. We searched many civilizations, none matched. Humans do." The room fell silent. "You're saying," Hale said slowly, "that humanity can save your people?" "Yes. And if we refuse?" Vera did not threaten. She did not raise her voice. "Then we will accept extinction with honor," she said. Ethan felt a tightness in his chest. That's it. No war, no invasion." "We are not conquerors," Vera said. "We are survivors." Director Hale looked away for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was quieter. "We will need proof." "You will have it," Vera replied. Later, in a sealed medical wing, Ethan lay on a scanning table, staring at the ceiling. "This is the weirdest date I've ever been on," he muttered. Vera stood beside the table, surrounded by human doctors and machines. Sensors traced his heartbeat, brain activity, and bioelectric fields. Vera extended her hand slightly, not touching him. A faint glow appeared between her fingers. "May I?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "At this point, sure." When her energy brushed against him, it was warm, not burning, comforting, like standing in sunlight after a long winter. The machines reacted instantly. Alarms chirped. Data spiked. "What is that?" one doctor whispered. "Resonance," Vera said. "It stabilizes me." "And her?" another asked. "It strengthens him," Vera replied. Ethan felt it. His exhaustion faded, his thoughts cleared, his fear eased. "That's actually nice," he said. The doctors stared at their screens in disbelief. Director Hale watched from behind the glass. Humanity had always believed strength came from weapons, ships, and numbers. Now they were watching it come from connection. News spread fast, even under lockdown. Whispers filled the station. Some feared Vera, some were curious, some were hopeful. Not everyone was patient. A hostile signal arrived 2 days later. Unknown ships emerged at the edge of the system, sleek and sharp, broadcasting aggressive demands. They had tracked Vera's energy signature. "They want her," a tactical officer reported. "Alive, if possible." Vera stood beside Ethan in the command room, calm as ever. "They are hunters," she said. "They feed on dying civilizations." Ethan clenched his fists. They picked the wrong station. Human ships scrambled. Defense grids powered up. The hunters attacked. Their weapons were fast, precise, deadly. Human shields faltered. One defense platform exploded. Ethan watched the battle unfold on the main screen, heart pounding. "We're losing ground." Vera turned to him. "Then let me stand with you." "You can fight?" Ethan asked. "I was born for it," she replied. Director Hale hesitated only a second. "Do it." Vera stepped forward, placing her hand on a human interface panel. The system resisted, then adapted. Human technology bent, changed, learned. Energy surged through the station, guided by both human logic and Noctira instinct. Outside, the battle shifted. Human ships moved with new precision. Shields hardened. Weapons struck true. Ethan watched in awe. "We're winning." "No," Vera said softly. "We are cooperating." The hunter ships broke formation and fled. Silence returned to space. Cheers erupted across the station. Ethan sagged into a chair, exhausted but smiling. "Okay, that was kind of amazing." Vera looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. "You stood with us when you could have turned away." "I guess that's a human thing," he said. She nodded. "Then perhaps that is why you are compatible." As the station slowly returned to normal, one truth became clear to everyone watching. Humans were not weak. They were bridges. And the galaxy had just noticed. The galaxy did not change in a single moment. It changed in quiet meetings, long conversations, and difficult choices. After the battle, the station became something new. It was no longer just a relay point. It became a place where species watched each other carefully, where fear and hope shared the same air. Human ships arrived daily. So did diplomats, scientists, and observers from allied worlds. Vera remained calm through all of it. She walked the station corridors without armor now, her movements slow and open. Some humans stepped aside when they saw her. Others stopped to stare. A few nodded to her with respect. She accepted all reactions without complaint. Ethan walked beside her more often than not. He still could not believe this was his life. A few days ago, he had been a bored engineer making jokes at the stars. Now he was walking next to an ancient alien warrior whose presence had changed human history. "You are distracted," Vera said as they walked. "Trying not to faint under the pressure of accidentally representing my entire species," Ethan replied. "That pressure existed before me," she said. "You simply feel it now." They entered a large chamber prepared for the final demonstration. Human Command had agreed to witness the Noctira bonding ritual, not as a marriage, but as proof. Proof that cooperation was possible. Proof that humans were truly compatible. The room was filled with observers. Humans sat behind protective screens. Drones hovered quietly, recording everything. Director Hale stood at the center, her expression serious but steady. "This is not a demand," she said. "If at any point you wish to stop, we stop." Vera inclined her head. Consent strengthens the bond, Ethan swallowed. That's good to hear. He had spent the last 2 days thinking about responsibility, about choice, about how easy it would be to run from something this big, but humans had never survived by running. He stepped forward. "I'll do it," he said. The room went silent. Director Hale searched his face. "You understand this could change you," Ethan nodded. "So did discovering fire. Or space travel or first contact. We survived those too." Vera watched him closely. "You choose freely?" "Yes," he said. "No jokes this time." Something warm passed through her eyes. The lights dimmed. The machines powered down. The room became quiet in a way that felt intentional. Vera stood before Ethan. She did not touch him yet. "In my culture," she said, "bonding is not ownership, it is promise. We protect each other, we endure together." "I can work with that," Ethan said. She raised her hands. Energy gathered around them, soft and glowing like starlight. It did not burn, it did not hurt. It wrapped around both of them like a shared breath. Ethan felt it move through him, not taking, not forcing, listening. His heart beat steady. His mind stayed clear. Around them, sensors went wild. Human scientists stared in disbelief as readings stabilized instead of spiking. Power output increased without overload. Biological stress dropped. "This shouldn't be possible," someone whispered, but it was. Vera closed her eyes. Ethan did the same. For a moment he felt her memories, long nights beneath dying suns, endless travel, loss carried with dignity, strength born from survival, not cruelty. She felt his, a small home, laughter, failure, hope, a species that fell down often but always got back up. The energy shifted, it grew stronger, the room filled with light. Outside the station, stars seemed to brighten. Communication arrays flared to life, broadcasting something new. Not a call, not a demand, a signal of unity. When the light faded, Ethan was still standing. Vera was still there, alive, stronger. She opened her eyes slowly. For the first time there was wonder in them. "It worked," she said. Cheers broke out across the observation deck. Humans hugged, some cried openly. Director Hale exhaled, her shoulders finally relaxing. History just changed. But the galaxy was listening. Other species received the signal, not the technical data but the meaning. A bond formed without domination. Power shared instead of taken. Some feared it, some hated it, others saw opportunity. Within days, messages arrived. Requests, questions, warnings. A council was formed. Humans and Noctira together. Others were invited, not as subjects but as equals. Ethan sat in the council chamber weeks later, still adjusting to the strange normal of his life. Vera stood beside him, her presence calm and steady. "You look uncomfortable," she said. "I never planned to sit in a chair that decides the fate of civilizations," he replied. "You are doing well," she said. "You listen." That was true. Humans listened. They argued. They disagreed, but they listened. The hunters who had attacked earlier did not return. Word had spread. Humans were no longer isolated prey. They were connected, not through fear, through trust. Ethan walked with Vera later, standing once again before the station window. The stars looked different now, not closer, just reachable. "So," he said, "I guess that joke really got out of hand." Vera's lips curved slightly. This time it was clearly a smile. "In my people's records," she said, "it will be remembered as the call that saved us." He looked at her, no pressure. She turned to face him. "There is one more thing." "Oh no," Ethan said, "that sentence never ends well." "In our culture," she said calmly, "a bond freely chosen is honored publicly." He raised an eyebrow. "You're saying—" "I am asking," she said, "not demanding." Ethan thought of fear, of responsibility, of the countless eyes watching humanity now. Then he thought of who humans had always been, the ones who stood up anyway. He smiled. "Yeah," he said, "I think I can handle that." Above them, the station's lights glowed softly. Around them, the galaxy shifted its understanding. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were partners. And it all began with one tired voice, speaking into the dark, and the courage to stand by the words when the dark answered back.